Hello, my name is Dr. Yaya Sisoko. Today we are going to talk about Chapter 13, various measure of cost. So the fixed cost is the cost that do not vary with the quantity of output produced. One example of fixed cost is the machinery. The cost of machinery do not change in the short run. Variable costs, on the other hand, are costs that vary with the quantity of output produced. One example of variable cost would be labor. So the number of workers, as you hire more workers, the variable cost will increase. The total cost is the fixed cost, the total fixed cost plus the total variable cost. Now let's define the average fixed cost, AFC. The average fixed cost is the fixed cost divided by the quantity of output. So, for instance, in the case of you know Catherine, so cookie factory, you take the cost of the factory, which is $30 divided by the quantity of cookies. How about the average variable cost, the ABC? So average variable cost is a variable cost divided by the quantity of output. You take the cost of the labor or the cost of the wages of worker, you divide by the quantity of output produced. In the case of catering, you take the cost of the worker hire divide by, you take the cost of worker hire divide by, so the quantity of cookies produced. Table 2 show the various measures of cost. Corner copy shop. The first column is about output, the cup of coffee produces per hours. So the second column is the total cost of producing the coffee. The third column is the fixed cost for corner fixed cost. The fourth column is the variable cost. So for instance, if corner produces 0 cup of coffee, the total cost is $3. So the total fixed cost also should be $3, because the total fixed cost is the cost which does not depend on the output. Regardless of you produce or not, you're going to vary the fixed cost in the short term. So therefore, $3 would be the fixed cost for the entire production in the short run. So regardless of the number of coffee produces, if you produce 9 or 10, the cost is still $3 or 9 cents. The total cost is the fixed cost is $3 or 9 cents. So how about the variable cost? You take the, the total cost minus the fixed cost. This will give you the variable cost. So here it's going to be 3 minus 3, that's 0. Here it's going to be 450 minus 3, that's going to be 150. Here it will be 12 minus 3, that's going to be 990. So we can see that the total cost increases as output increases. The fixed cost doesn't change. The total variable cost increases also as output increases. So if I call this Q, this is TC, the total cost. This is TFC. This is a TBC. So we can see that as Q increases, so the total cost is also increases, and then the total variable cost is also increases as you produce more, and the total fixed cost doesn't change, no change. So next we go with the three next column, which is deal with the average. You take the, the total cost, you divide by Q, the output, to get the total average cost. You take the total fixed cost, you divide by TFC, divide by Q. On output, you get the average fixed cost. You take the total variable cost, you divide by Q, the output, to get the average variable cost. For instance, to produce 3 cups of coffee, the average fixed cost is going to be $3. Fixed cost divided by 3, that's going to be $1. The average variable cost will be 150 divided by 3, that's going to be 50 cents. The average total cost is going to be 450 divided by 3, that's going to be 150, or $1 plus 50 cents, that's also give you 150. Now let's move on to the marginal cost, MC. Let's go marginal cost, MC. So the marginal cost, which is the last column, you take is the additional cost for producing one more unit of the output. It's the additional cost for producing one more cup of coffee. So you take the change in the change in the total cost divided by the change in the output. For instance, here, to produce one more cup of coffee, you take a 350 minus $3 divided by 1 minus 0. That's give you 30 cents. So if you want to produce 6 cups of coffee, so it's going to be, the total cost is 750. You take 750 minus 650 divided by 6 minus 5. So that's going to be 130 divided by 1. That's going to be $1.30. All right, so another example, if you want to produce one more cup of coffee at 10, so then you have total cost is $15. It's going to be 15 minus 1290 divided by 10 minus 8. It's going to be 210 divided by 1, that's $2.10. So what do you see here? What do you conclude in this 4 last column? So the average fixed cost is decreasing, doesn't change, it's decreasing all over through. As you produce more output, this is decreasing. The average variable cost so is increasing. This is increasing as you produce more cup of coffee. And the average total cost decrease all the way up to 130. So it goes all the way up to 7 cups of coffee, and then after that it starts to increase from 8 to 10. It has to increase. How about the marginal cost? The marginal cost, so So the marginal cost is also increasing all the way up to, so the marginal cost is increasing as you produce more cup of coffee. So the average total cost ATC equal to total cost divided by the quantity. The marginal cost, MC, is the increase in total cost raising for an extra unit of production. In other words, marginal cost equal to the change in total cost divided by the change in quantity. So increase in total cost for producing one more unit of the output. One conclusion is that rising marginal cost due to diminishing marginal product. Another conclusion also the U shape of the average total cost. So the average total cost equal to average variable cost plus the average fixed cost. The U shape is due to average fixed cost always decline as output rises. The average, so variable cost typically rises as output increases because of diminishing marginal product. So the bottom of the U shape is at quantity that minimize average total cost. The efficient scale is a quantity of output that minimize average total cost. So what is the relationship between marginal cost and average total cost? When marginal cost is less than average total cost, the average total cost is falling. When marginal cost is greater than average total cost, the average total cost is rising. So the marginal cost curve cross the average total cost curve at its minimum. So figure number 4 show corner average cost and marginal curve courses. So you can see that from table 2, these courses curve show these three features typical of many firms. One, marginal cost curve is rising. This is what you see, the marginal cost curve is rising, positive slope. As output increases, the cost also is increasing. Total cost is increasing. So the additional cost is positive slope. So number 2, the average total cost is in U shape. The average total cost is in U shape, which is this one. It decrease, get to a bottom, then it start to increase. The marginal curve cost cross the average total cost at the minimum. The marginal cost cross the average total cost at the minimum, which is right here at the minimum, which is at 5 cup of coffee, about 5 cup of coffee.